Hello, and welcome to Spirit Among Us. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 22. And he put all things under his feet, and gave him as head over all things to the church. In addition to putting all things under his feet, God made Jesus Christ to be the head over all the church. This only makes sense when we think about it, because if all things are under his feet, that would naturally include the church. But the reason Paul talks about Christ as the head of the church specifically is because he's pointing to a deeper truth about our relationship with God. The Bible frequently uses the word bride to refer to the church. We are the bride, and he is the bridegroom, Jesus. Now, later in this same book, the book of Ephesians, he makes a reference to this in instructing wives and husbands on how they should treat each other. I want to look now to Ephesians chapter 5, verses 22 through 24. Wives, submit to your own husbands, as to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, his body, and is himself its Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit in everything to their husbands. The husband is the head of the wife, just as Christ is the head of the church. All of our life, our salvation, our hope, all of this comes from the one and only source, Jesus Christ. So it is good to be reminded that he is our head, because we know that we will continue to receive great blessings from him on top of everything we've already received. But in addition to this, knowing that Christ is the head of the church should also yield a certain response from us. Because he is our head, we should be in submission to him. Now, there's no real question about this. To be a follower of Christ, we must die to ourselves, our own plans, and our own desires, and instead choose to follow him. Jesus said that if anyone wants to come after him, he must deny himself, pick up his cross, and follow him. We must submit ourselves to his will. We must be obedient to him. This is part of the genuine walk with Christ. When it comes to our relationship with God, we should not be struggling to have things go our way. We shouldn't be insistent on our own way, because we are not the head. We are not leading our own lives. That is what Christ does as our head. He is the leader. He's the one who calls the shots. And if we are to follow him, we must submit to him. Now this takes surrender on our part. We have to let go of our own plans and our own ambitions and instead hold fastly to the plan of God and all that he has for us. This is not always an easy thing to do, and it's usually quite difficult, but our response from knowing that Jesus is the head of the church should be to submit to him. So I want to ask you, have you been struggling to have your own way over God's way in your life? Maybe you can't bear the thought of letting go of all the plans that you've made for your life. Well, know this. It's not that God will necessarily lead you away from all your plans, but in order to be best used by him, we must be ready at all times to surrender our own will to his. Pray that God would humble your heart and help you to surrender to him today. Thank you for watching, and God bless.